Let's get it on! Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ducrossbros. I don't know how long this has been. We were just talking about it a little while ago, but as always, look, check this out, right? Right back there, we're the ducrossbros, the sports warriors, crossing that line. I know, right? It's been a long time coming. It truly has. I know you guys missed us. We've been some of the most wanted people out there. When are you guys coming back? What's new? And stuff like that. And I get it, right? We've been gone for a minute, but make no mistake about it. We are back and we are here. I can't believe it. I am happy and stoked to be back.
It's one of those things, Tristan, that
I was thinking about it before we came on the air. We'll touch base and we'll get into everything here in a little bit. But it was one of those things that just we're echoing.
Yeah, I know.
So take off everything else.
Talk. Gotta work out a little bit of buzz. We good?
Hold on, I'm waiting to hear. Yeah, I don't hear the reverb.
Okay. All right, so let's give this a shot. Let's see how we do. So yeah, UFC 298 happened over the week. Why does it still sound like we're far away?
Because there's something, look, there's still more on the line still going. See, there shouldn't be anything on the line. The only thing that should be is our mics.
What about
Come
here?
back towards me. You had it fine a second ago when I gave you the thumbs up. Come back towards me.
All right, so this one sounds good? Getting these figured out. It's been a minute. 3 years to be exact.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay, all right. Tristan Ducross, Sean Ducross, we're the Ducross brothers. As you can see, a little bit of a different setup, right? Like I said, right, we've been gone for a little while, so bear with us. 3 years, it's been a long time. Calls the most controversial people doing this, whatever you may call it, but we are back. And Sean, how excited are you to be back to do this again? Because it's been 3 long years, and we've talked about it. If people didn't understand, we had a lot of stuff happen to us in the last couple of years, both personally, most of it personally, to us. And so it took us out of our mindset, out of our game plan, and moved on. But hopefully everything gets ironed out.
You know, it's one of those things that it was, I went completely like dark. When we didn't do this show for 3 years since COVID.
Yep. I
went dark. Like, you could message me, and if it was regarding our podcast and it was regarding anything else, I completely ignored it.
I did too.
I didn't care.
I'll say that right now too. I apologize to everybody that has reached out to Sean and I, and we've gone quiet. There was a lot of stuff that happened to us. A lot of stuff. Some stuff we posted on Facebook, some stuff we kept close to our vest. So, yes, it was a little bit of chaos since COVID, and 3 years, a lot of stuff has happened. So yes, I'm with Sean. I apologize to those people that have reached out to Sean and I on multiple times and reached out to us on all of our social media platforms. All the fans and stuff like that, please get back at us, and we'll start returning all the favors because we are back in this game. We are back doing what we love and back to supporting amateur MMA, local MMA, you name it. Wherever you guys want us, we will be there. I know that we have a couple things that are working out. If Matt Padilla is listening to this right now, my man, get at me. We need to have a chit chat. He knows what's up. And Gary Brown, thank you for just always chiming in, always checking on us. Appreciate you. Fight Book MMA, you guys have always been there and stuff like that for your boys. So again, same thing. Apologize to everybody that we've kind of went dark for a little while, but we're back. We're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to get back on that grind. So just let's get this ride going. UFC 298 happened over the week. We have pro wrestling talk. Again, something that you'll get from us, you get from all different facets, right? You get combat sports, you get combat sports, you'll get boxing, you'll get MMA, you get professional wrestling. You'll get it from all aspects. And we are a opinion-based talk show.
If this is the first time that you're going to be checking us out, following us or whatever.
So trust me, we don't claim to be the best of the best. We just claim that, well, we give you entertainment and we give you our opinion so you won't hear the same opinion. If you click on every other station, you'll see the same stuff.
So we may be doing this here on Facebook Live. We may end up doing it next week on YouTube. It's one of those things that we don't know yet as we get adjusted to coming back, which platform we want to stream live on. We were trying to kind of try to stream here on Facebook and Instagram. The Instagram didn't quite work out the way we wanted it to. But yeah, so share this, spam it out there. But UFC 298 happened. It was iffy, if you ask me, Tristan. It wasn't one of those ones that I wrote home about, that I enjoyed. So it was an interesting week to come back, Tristan, and go, well, this is the UFC event we're talking about? This is the one we're going to go off with?
I mean, we do have plenty of stuff that's in the works for the UFC and to see where it's possibly going, because we had 298, we have 299 coming up, and then we have the big one at 300. So we still have a long road ahead of us. But when I looked at 298 and finally getting back into the swing of things and watching MMA and kind of grinding it out, right? It was vastly different to, I'm not going to lie. Miguel Cruz, dude, brother, I would love to win the Elimination Chamber. Can you put us in the Elimination Chamber? But no, I'll digress. We'll get to that, though.
Yeah,
Miguel,
Cruz,
I promise
we'll get to,
right?
That's in after the next commercial break. We'll get to the WWE.
Yep.
Trust me, that's on my to-do list because I want to talk about the women's shenanigans that happened on Monday Raw. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
Just like we got AEW here to talk about tonight. We've got some other stuff here. So we're going to touch on a little bit of everything in the next hour or so here with the Ducross brothers here. So UFC 298 saw a new champion crowned in Topuria. Topuria came out and knocked out or TKO'd Volkanovski. I heard something interesting. I was listening to Chael Sonnen's podcast. And tell me if this is you agree with this, because I was split. And guys out there, tell me if you guys are split on this. So Chael Sonnen was talking about Topuria, and he was talking about that coming into this fight. When fighters fight, he says that you know who's going to win.
Yes.
That's the approach everybody has is, oh, I know already who's going to win. But it's up to the fighter to talk themselves into the game. He says that Topuria initially would perceive that he wasn't in this fight. Volkanovski was the big dog in the yard. He was the big dog with the
100% he was.
And all of a sudden, Topuria kind of started talking himself into the game, calling Volk old, calling him this, and started to believe his own hype. And then when we got to the fight, you always have that puncher's chance. So Chael Sonnen used a reference about that you can talk yourself up.
Joe Phoebus, thank you, my guy.
You can talk yourself up to believing you're going to win the fight.
You could buy into your own hype.
And when I heard that, I was like, I don't often agree with that. I don't think, because he says that trash talking, you can't get into somebody's head. I disagree with
that 100%.
I disagree with that. So I think you could go both sides of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you hype yourself up? Absolutely, because I could sit here and go, all right, I'm getting in the zone. I'm getting ready to do it. I'm talking myself that we're going to have an amazing show. We're going to kill it when we come back, and we're going to slay it, and this is going to set the tone for the rest of the year. I can say that. I can believe it. I can talk it up. But to say that trash talking can't get into somebody's head, dude, if I talk crap to you right now, you best believe I could get underneath your skin.
Yes.
And if I could get underneath your skin, then now you're out of your game.
100%.
You're out of your element.
But
you
think
need
about
to
this,
switch
Sean.
the page.
But think about this. Even though you're talking about trash talk, right? Volk had this fight for the first, one and part of the second round, okay? What's something that you and I have always said from day one is that you can get into somebody's head. You can turn the momentum. You can turn the tide. But it doesn't matter about the weapons you have, the skills you have, because if you have what we've always said, and the coach said it himself, Sean, what was the one thing he said about his guy? He said that his man, that when you're talking about, he has a puncher's chance.
And that's the thing, is like in MMA, you always had that puncher's chance. If you got a good hand, all you got to do is get one shot.
Right.
That's all you got to do. That's what Tapor did. But now you're talking about his hype. He calls out Conor McGregor. Everybody's after this big payday, Tristan, of Conor McGregor. That's what they want. And it's like, guys, he's not coming back.
Not even a little bit.
You know it's bad that when you look across the bow and Michael Chandler's on Raw and he's making a call to Conor McGregor. I may touch on that in the next segment here with the WWE. But
what did you think about that?
Okay, so you want to touch on it.
I do.
We'll touch on that coming out of the break. But the UFC 298 had that interesting tidbit, right?
Yeah.
So then the next one was, the biggest talk was Henry Cejudo comes back, loses his back-to-back fights now.
How did you feel about the whole entire not allowing him to retire in the ring?
Because according to Dana White, he did it once before. Why do we need to see it again?
Do you agree with the sentiment that here's a guy that has retired and did it deserve the spot to take the spotlight away?
Why? Why should you give it to him?
I agree.
There's no point. If you knew he was going to retire and he already came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to leave my gloves,"
and he lost to Marab. I mean, that says it all, right?
Right. There's no point in it. There's no point in giving. Yeah, it's a little sly. Kind of is that you didn't give him the proper respect for a former champion. Sure, but you retired once. You lost that opportunity in my eyes.
I agree.
You had your opportunity to sit back there and go, okay, I retired. I'm going to put my gloves down. I'm going to call it a day.
I don't understand that.
What did you mess with the audio?
I didn't.
So what kicked over?
Don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
So you kicked it back to
I'm trying.
Okay. There you go.
There we go. I don't know.
But yeah, so I'm with Dana White on that one.
Yeah. He put his gloves in the ring. This guy, though, he had an 8-week camp. That's not long enough.
Is it?
Sean, he's been out for 3 years, kind of like we've been out for 3 years.
No, he was out for 3 years, and then he came back and he's now lost back-to-back fights.
Bro, how long is it going to take us to officially kind of hit our groove and hit our swing? We ain't knocking it out of the ballpark first shot.
No, because you keep messing with the audio.
Dude, I'm just trying to make sure that everything works right now. Like, we'll iron out the kinks. The first show is the first show back. But, man, you had Volk lose, Henry Cejudo lose. You had the only bright spot.
What about Mackenzie Dern and the cheering that she won the fight?
Go back to the drawing board. She's good on the ground. Her stand-up sucks.
That's always been her MO.
Right?
That's always been her MO is she's solid on the mat, and that's what she's good at. But,
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it, like, there's no way she won that fight, and it was just funny. She became a meme that night. But you know what?
Like Zuckerberg?
What was Zuckerberg
Please, Zuck,
doing?
don't shut us down. I'm sorry.
But you look at that card, and that card left a lot to be desired. But it was interesting. UFC 299 is coming up.
Yep.
We'll touch on that in a couple weeks. But I mean, there's a lot going on. But we're gonna go ahead and take a break here, and then we'll be right back after this break, and we'll get into some wrestling talk. So Miguel Cruz, you're still there. You're still out there. Let's talk wrestling.
What's up, everybody? We are the Ducross Brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross, right here in your viewing pleasure. I'm Tristan Ducross. This is my brother, Sean Ducross. We're back. A little bit of kinks in the first 15, 20 minutes. No sweat. Just like Henry Cejudo, we just had to fix a little something and come back stronger, better than ever, except we're not retiring. So we're still in this game. So, but as we can see, as the momentum of the fight game continues to change, the course of the landscape, right, is professional wrestling is no hotter than it has ever been in a long, long time.
I mean, look at it.
You like pro wrestling? Cool. Pick up your beer, pick up your coffee, enjoy your brothers, and let's talk some professional wrestling. Because right now, you have AEW, you have TNA Impact, you have Ring of Honor, you have NWA, WWE, you name it. You can watch any kind of wrestling anywhere you want. But what's interesting is that everything that is going on with the WWE, the scandal that they have right now that once again had Vince McMahon resigning. You have now The Rock with TKO
And WWE.
and the WWE, and he's part of the Bloodline, whatever this is. Think he means this, but he did this. The Gun Club? Is he with the Bang Bang Gang? The Rock, I don't know how I feel about this new Hollywood persona.
Why? It's Hollywood Rock. You act like you've never seen this before.
No, I have. That's the thing. I don't know if I wanted to see it into 2024.
Hey, when the fans are booing you and you
Gotta flip the game, right?
Absolutely. Like he changed in a blink of an eye. But that's the thing. Like, we're on the road to WrestleMania, folks. And we've got The Rock with the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins.
Yes.
They're going to be in Perth, Australia for the Elimination Chamber.
Is this true?
There are so many different avenues that we could go down this rabbit hole of what's going to happen with The Rock. The easiest one that everybody says is, oh, The Rock is going to turn on Roman Reigns and cost the title. That's easy. That's predictable. That's predictability. But why would you waste that predictability on your biggest limelight of the event?
It's true.
That's the problem I have, a hard thing to swallow. But when you look at everything that's going on, Tristan, is the thing that I could see happening is that
Justin Gibbons, my guy, welcome
is
back.
that when you look at the transition period, how fitting would it be that if Triple H is really petty, you let him beat Roman Reigns with the help of The Rock, but you throw a little bit of a caveat, a little bit of a twist, a little bit of a turn. Damian Priest still has the money in the bank.
He does.
So if Triple H is really petty and been playing up this big extravagant story of, hey, Cody's got to finish his story, which technically
Don't sound like The Rock, please.
when technically that story ended last year. I completely agree with that. His story ended. He didn't win the title. Move on.
End of story.
Like you've been trying to regurgitate and explain as to why this story still means something.
Right.
So if you wanted to continue to build this up and say, yeah, you know what, we brought over an AEW guy, we put him at the top of the food chain, but you know what, I'm going to be petty.
100%.
You can win the title.
Yes, you
can
can.
finish your story, but I'm still going to give it to our guy. You'll be nothing more than a glorified, and then you can go back down and be Stardust.
It's weird that we're in this conundrum with Cody Rhodes. He left, became the main event superstar that he wanted to be.
Right.
Still kind of in the main event picture. kind of. And I say that kind of because right now I feel like he's a tweener. He's not exactly at the top of the food chain, if that makes sense. Because, again, there's levels to the status of one. And when you're looking at The Rock and you're looking at this global phenomenon that is going to be WrestleMania 40, I agree with The Rock if you had something in your hand.
And see, Tristan, you touched on that, okay? Roman Reigns has that shirt, that hoodie that says levels above.
Yes.
Okay? You hit on something that nobody else is talking about. Levels. There's levels to this game. Do you get the feeling that when you see Roman Reigns and you see The Rock on the screen, as a fan and fans out there, do you feel that Cody and Seth Rollins are really on the level of those two? Like, they just feel, to me, they're far higher up the ladder than those two. Like, you're fighting for the world title. I get it, right?
Yep.
But you're not... You feel like you're a placeholder.
You do.
You're just another number.
100%.
And they're trying to justify that Seth Rollins' world title means something. They're trying to justify that Cody Rhodes is going to finish his story and that he's going to be the next world champion. And they're going to have two workhorses. They're going to have Seth Rollins and they're going to have Cody Rhodes, and that those titles are going to be defended till hell freezes over.
See, as a professional wrestling fan, this is where my fandom comes in, is that I have a very hard time to understand with Cody Rhodes finishing his story for his dad, the title that his dad won but was taken away for a DQ. Okay,
Pause. Okay, that's another thing that I'm going to pick apart. Because not even the guys at Busted Open verify this, okay? And I love Busted Open. I listen to Busted Open a lot. Even you got the TikTok guys, the TikTok wrestling guys, hasn't even mentioned this. So I'm going to mention this, okay? He said at the beginning of the story that, he wants to bring the winged angel belt back.
Yes.
The winged belt.
There's been quite some talk about that, yes.
And he says that's the belt that Roman Reigns has. Why? How's that Roman Reigns belt? Roman Reigns unified the belts. That belt's been non-existent for decades. So how is it that Roman Reigns' belt, that one,
right?
You could easily say that the belt that was created from Seth Rollins, you could create that as the wing belt. It doesn't really have any relevancy to what the belt really is.
Fair.
The only thing is that Roman Reigns' title reign is synonymous with the legends of who's held a title for how long they've held the title.
I'll buy that, yeah.
So where's the disconnect about what's what and what's really what? It's just like, how can you name that title? And again, perfect discussion is that when Busted Open brought it up, like, why is that called the Undisputed title? There's another title over on Raw. So there's a lot of issues I feel in this storyline that has no true clarity to it if you really want to pick it apart.
If you really want to pick it apart, Sean.
Right. And I don't
The
think
Dusty Rhodes title that he won was DQ'd was an NWA title. So technically, if you want to get technical, the title that should mean the utmost to him is the big gold belt.
Because of WCW.
Because it was related to NWA. So if you really wanted to break this story down to actually to the bottom of the barrel, it should never have been about the WWE World Title. Yes, his father wrestled in the WWE. Yes, his father never won a world title. But if you're talking about the world title that his father won and was taken away from him, was the NWA World Heavyweight title. So therefore, theoretically, you should be going after the Seth Rollins world title if you really wanted to do it for your daddy. If not, you wanted to just do it because of the Rhodes name and the Rhodes had never won a world title, then yeah, by all means, have at it. Go to wherever you want. Win whatever championship you want. I do not care. But let's connect the dots here a little bit better, folks. Like, we're grasping at straws here when we're bouncing left to right about what is the story. Like, I talked to one of my guys at work, and bro, we need to do a better job as writers, as people that are connecting those dots, that this is the way that it should be.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I mean, it's a good storyline, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I don't care.
But this whole thing, I don't know. I see the writing on the wall that at the end of the day, Cody's going to walk out as a champion, win, lose, or draw. The Rock's going to help him, and I think that's the way it's going to play out. And it sucks because you see it coming from a mile away. So you look at that, and then we also have the stuttering and the sputtering of LA Knight. Like, LA Knight is in the Elimination Chamber, right?
But so is Drew McIntyre.
So what are we doing with LA Knight? He was the most over guy.
Still is. LA Knight, yeah. What are we doing with LA Knight? Because we push, we start, we stop, we start, we stop with him. You either push him to the moon and see that he is the megastar that he thinks he is, or you just bypass him and give it to Drew McIntyre. Either way, coming out of this Elimination Chamber, ain't nobody going to be happy. If Drew McIntyre doesn't win, his contract is up and he's gone for the WWE. That's the way I see it.
So it's interesting because you look at who's in that Elimination Chamber, right? Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul. We already know Logan Paul's not going to win because he's the U.S. champion.
Yeah.
So he's not going to win.
Why he's even in this is beyond me, because Miz should have won this. That would have at least been something. To tout Logan Paul as a possible double champ, that's just stupid. You know that's not going to happen.
Right. And then Kevin Owens, you know that's not going to happen because he's probably going to go to WrestleMania and he's going to fight Logan Paul. So then you look at Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, we're probably going to see interference from Karrion Kross's crew.
Yep.
Somehow, some way.
Because I think that's going to be a WrestleMania match.
So then you're going to come down to Drew McIntyre, LA Knight, Randy Orton.
Yep.
It'd be an interesting story if Randy Orton comes back and wins it, because Randy Orton could go after what? His like upteenth title run.
Yeah.
And be done. But do you give it to Drew McIntyre against Seth Rollins again and get him his due?
The issue I have with Drew McIntyre is that this guy carried the company on his shoulders during COVID.
Right.
And they had a moment for Drew McIntyre to put the title on him in his hometown, and you didn't because you want to prolong Roman Reigns' reign. You could have easily put the title on him for that feel-good moment, do it in front of his fans, do it in front of his family, and then take it off him the next time as a transitional champion.
Right.
But you didn't. So now you're playing up this kind of the shoot mantra and stuff like that, that it's time for him to take back what is owed to him because he carried the flag. He carried the championship during when nobody was there. And nobody will give him a shot or give him his due. So it's now for him to step up and take it himself. That's all fine and dandy. Go ahead. Have your title fight.
But it's like if you go that route, Tristan, and you give Drew McIntyre Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, to give him that opportunity to hold a title when the fans are back and not carry the flag of when COVID was around.
Right.
Sure, that makes a great story. But then what do you do with LA Knight? If it's going to be Kevin Owens and Logan Paul again, but this time at WrestleMania, and then you put the title on Kevin Owens and take it off of Logan Paul, okay, that makes sense. But what does LA Knight do? There's nobody for him to fight of any magnitude because he needs to fight for a title. That's what he needs to do. If he's not fighting for the world title...
And he's not fighting for the U.S. Championship, then what are you doing with him?
He's not going to go after Gunther?
No.
Is he? Are they going to try to do a last-minute switcheroo and go after Gunther for the IC title?
I don't know, but...
Who is Gunther going to fight? Because you just gave Jey Uso an opportunity at the title.
He should have won that. I have a question on that, how that match ended.
But there's no opportunity there. There's nobody else on that promotion right now that is right now in line story-wise to take on Gunther for the IC title, unless again you give it to Sami Zayn for a WrestleMania moment and repay him for not giving him the world title at WrestleMania when he was over through the roof.
Dude, that's another guy. That's another guy. How does he go from the highs of the highs to the lowest of the lows right now, Sami Zayn, to questioning himself about whether or not he can actually still wrestle? Like, seriously, we're going down that rabbit hole? Last time he did that, he looked like Fidel Castro. So I don't understand. There's a couple storylines heading to WrestleMania season. I hope there's going to be a little bit more questions that are answered at the Elimination Chamber in Australia.
It's just who's going to pay attention to it?
Right, because it's freaking early in the morning. Yep.
5:30 in the morning. Like, what?
I don't know.
But you talk about the same thing again. You go over to the Women's Elimination Chamber. At least with the Men's Elimination Chamber, it's like all over the place.
It is.
You can kind of buy into certain things.
Yes.
But when you look at the Women's Elimination Chamber, it's just straight trash. Bianca Belair.
Yep.
Liv Morgan.
Right.
Becky Lynch. Tiffany Stratton. Like, who else? Raquel Rodriguez is back. Okay? You look at Bianca Belair. She's probably not going to win because they're probably going to give it up to Jade Cargill. We're probably going to see that at WrestleMania. That's probably why they didn't put Jade Cargill in the Elimination Chamber.
It's not her time yet.
No. But you continue to train her, continue to build her up. Then she shows up and confronts Bianca Belair. You get that WrestleMania moment.
Yep.
But do you believe Liv Morgan as a viable candidate really against Rhea Ripley? No, you don't.
No.
Tiffany Stratton, not ready
Not yet.
She's in there because she's the most athletic woman in there. Well, one of two of the most athletic women in there. She's probably going to do her moonsault off the top of one of the boxes. So the most viable candidate is we're going to probably get Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
But it would make sense if you put Becky against Nia Jax at WrestleMania. Again, what I have an issue with the promos is Becky's already been calling as if she already got the nod for Rhea Ripley, which I don't understand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's already,
why
I
now?
Think it's already predetermined.
Right.
And so, yeah, you talk about Nia Jax versus Becky Lynch for the built-in storylines there. Sure. But not for WrestleMania. That's something you do later on down the road at like a SummerSlam or somewhere where not it's on the grandest stage of them all. Because you sure as heck do not let Nia Jax defeat Rhea Ripley at Perth.
God, no.
Like, there's just no way.
No.
I mean, you made Nia Jax, but see, then again, they go ahead and... That's the problem I have with WWE is... They do a lot of good, and they do a lot of things that make you scratch your head. And one of the things it is, Nia Jax destroying every single woman that's in the Elimination Chamber. So to me, the credibility is gone. The credibility is out the door because of the fact that now every woman that's in there got destroyed by Nia Jax.
100%.
How can you believe that they can defeat Rhea Ripley now?
I agree.
You can't.
No. So, when you're looking at where we're at right now, Sean, how do you think everything plays out?
Starting with what?
Go with the former WCW champion for that title. Who do you got versus Seth Rollins right now? Everything that you have said with LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, who you got?
So I gotta go with LA Knight. I gotta say that you can, if you don't give him the nod at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins, you lost his steam immensely. It's already slowing down. I get where you're going with Drew McIntyre. I would love it for Drew McIntyre to get his due. But unfortunately, you missed the boat last year with Sami Zayn.
Yes, you did.
You can't miss the boat again with LA Knight. You're cooling him off right now. You need to pick it up and go to the moon with him. It'll be interesting to have a title on him on Raw while you get Seth Rollins a way to heal.
So, what do you think is the end game for the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns?
They're going to put the title on Cody Rhodes.
What if they don't? What if we get swerved again?
Then it makes sense. I think there should be a swerve. I don't think Cody should walk out. I think that the end result that, again, if you're going to do this shtick of winning the title, have him retain, right?
Okay.
Have Roman retain on WrestleMania.
Okay.
And do what has been mentioned on a number of podcasts. Have Cody Rhodes win the title at SummerSlam. Have him win at SummerSlam.
On his dad's pay-per-view?
Have him win it there.
See,
The story was never about when he was going to win it. It was never about where he was going to win it.
yes, sir.
Everybody assumes
That it
it's
should be on the
WrestleMania.
grandest stage of them all.
No. It was just him winning a title.
But it doesn't have to, does it?
Right. So, why? But you know what? Enjoy when WrestleMania comes around because it's just, as The Rock said, enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. 100%.
And we will be right back after this break, and we'll get into some AEW and start to round out the show.
AEW. AEW. What's up, my beautiful people? I'm Tristan Ducross. Along my side, as always, is my brother, my partner in crime, Sean Ducross. We're back after 3 long years. Wow, does it feel different and feel a little bit better to be back in this game once again. Incredible, incredible show. I appreciate everybody that has tuned in, that has dropped us messages. I appreciate you guys like no other. It means the world to us to see some old people come back and give us props that, hey, you guys are back. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. It means the world to us. In the meantime, as you can see right here, Ducross Brothers, new look, new setup. I hope you guys like it. We still have to get used to like where we have the mics and how we kind of talk through these. So, bear with us for a minute. While again, right, first time over the last couple of years to be doing this,
Looking at the camera from this angle.
right. I really do, Sean, have to tip my cap to everybody. Because I did not think that we would get the audience that we have. I didn't think we would get a lot of our boys back that was gone for a minute, and now they're back, and they're giving us kudos and stuff like that. So that means the world to me. That means the world to my brother that, you know, we still kind of have that it. And that means the world to us. So thank you guys for giving us the dues. It means a lot. But there's still a lot more for us to do. There's still a lot more for us to accomplish. We were the platform before there was a platform. We were the voice before there was a voice. We were the ones that helped pave that door and open up that door for a lot of the young amateur fighters. There's plenty of people out there that can imitate us, that can take what we do and stuff like that. But make no mistake about it, we were the ones before they were the ones. So that means that they are the twos and we are the ones. There was only three people in this MMA world before everybody else. So just remember that, and I think you know who those 2 other names are, and you guys need to pay respect to the people that has paved the roads for the people that you walk on, and that was us and 2 others. And before that, there was nothing out here. There was no MMA talk. There was no grind or anything like that. There was no platform for amateur fighters to actually get the rub so they could get used to what they're actually doing out there when they go pro. So, yes, I will continue to tout that as far as I can. And in the meantime, talk about touting an icon. Talk about touting a legend. AEW heads to Greensboro, North Carolina. Sting at 64 is finally retiring.
Wait, North Carolina? The way you said that had me thinking about Petey Pablo.
North Carolina! Wave your towel around, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I hear you.
Right? So, you wanted to talk about this Sting retirement match.
Mm-hmm. He's my man since 1985, brother.
So, here's the thing.
Yeah, go.
1, I got it off.
Thank you.
I'm making sure I'm getting that shit off.
Love you long time.
March 3rd.
Love you long time.
I got to be able to say I watched
One of my guys is driving with his brother and 2 other buddies to Greensboro, North Carolina from my work.
That's fucking ridiculous.
And so I told him it was my birthday on February 15th, our birthday on February 15th. I told him, hey, I don't care what you do. You better get me something signed by Sting. That's all I'm saying. All I've ever asked in my life, you get me something signed by Steve Borden, the Stinger. Stinger's been my guy. Oh, my God. The Surfer Sting, Wolfpack Sting, NWO Sting, Joker Sting, you name it.
Like, there's not a lot of people that, like, I would say is on my bucket list to interview. Like, one of my all-time bucket lists that we ever had a chance to interview was Sir Parker.
Oh, Sir Parker. Thank you, my guy.
Like, if you don't know Sir Parker, man, that guy has a fantastic story. We even became friends with him on Facebook. He was on our bucket list, man.
Even Damian Jackson,
good friend of ours, too. Good friend of the show. Love those 2 guys.
See, that's the only thing that I kind of miss, right, is that we were like the jack of all trades, master of none, right? In terms of our show. We used to do a show where, man, we talked about every single sport
And had
known to man.
everybody
And
on
had
the show.
every single person you could possibly think of, from actors, fighters, athletes to you name it, man. We used to cover even the circus guys with Travis Pastrana. You know, we used to do that stuff. If we could get in the game with covering professional wrestling, I think that would be dope as well too. But I still don't know how to get into that niche.
Well,
so if anybody
you can
has,
try to reach out to New Japan. It's coming down here to Ontario,
that is very true,
so you can try to figure that out.
right?
But to go back to Sting, that was one guy that, like, when he announced his retirement, I immediately went in and wrote and was like, no, I'm getting that day off, because I want to be able to say, like, I watched his last. I watched him from WCW to WWE, which was bullshit. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Tell them how you really feel.
And then to AEW. But
Dude, what about, he did some phenomenal things at TNA.
Oh, yeah, I love the Joker Sting. That was one of my favorites. Like, that was him going outside of the box.
Yep.
But his retirement run has left me feeling underwhelmed. Like, I don't like him against the Young Bucks. I mean, I get it. I get why it's the Young Bucks, because it's a built-in storyline, because there's plenty enough of photos and stuff like that of Sting with the Young Bucks when they were just babies, basically. So they go all the way back. And for them to do what they did to him and his kids, it makes perfect sense how we got here.
But again,
the problem I have is the Young Bucks don't need the tag team titles. Sting and Darby Allin didn't need the tag team titles to make this work.
No.
But the problem that I have is that Sting and Darby Allin are going to drop the titles
to the Young Bucks.
to the Young Bucks. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So the problem I have with this whole entire situation is that Sting was adamant to never wanted to win a world title or any titles in AEW.
Right.
He didn't want to. But when you go 28-0 as a tag team, you kind of pigeonhole yourself. But Sting has done so much for the business.
But you could have let that fight.
And the issue
hold on,
that I
Tristan.
had.
You could have let that bout between them and Big Bill and Ricky Starks end in a draw.
You could have.
Or a DQ.
Yeah.
That way,
Left
neither
both
one of them
teams strong.
Exactly. But you went the route of giving Sting his last one title run that they're really not going to defend the titles until March 3rd.
Yep.
So you basically gave him the titles for a month that are not going to be defended.
Right. And another issue that I have with this is the fact that the Young Bucks beat up Darby Allin and Sting and his sons and left him laying, and we haven't heard one thing about that except for Darby Allin's, I'm going to say it, I have to say it, mush mouth. That guy, can he not talk?
Who?
Darby Allin.
He can talk. I just don't understand, like, his promo style yet.
Okay.
Like, I feel like...
Is that it? His promo style?
Yeah, because he can talk.
Because
Like, there's nothing
that
there's
promo-
nothing that he says, Tristan, that you don't understand. And to me, when you say that mush mouth, that's
when he was talking,
that's Fat Albert and that,
Fat
and
Albert.
and that character not being able to talk.
I don't think he. When I listened
Darby
to that,
Allin can talk.
when I heard that promo,
It was awkward.
not only was it awkward, is that there was some words that, like, even in the beginning, that he was stumbling over. That's why I'm calling him mush mouth, because
No, because
it's
again,
as if he. Okay, fine, not mush mouth. Then he had marbles in his mouth at one point.
maybe a little bit better because he was stumbling over some of
Yes.
of what he wanted to get. But I believe that's
he
that's part
brought
of his
up
promo.
stuff again that is pointless to what had happened to Sting and his sons and to Darby. I do not care that they are the EVPs and the fact that they have all the power and all the stroke and they bring in their friends. Dude, that's been there, that's been said, that's been done and everything, Sean. We don't need to bring it up, and then you bring up the white elephant in the room.
Cody Rhodes.
There's no need to do that. I wanted to know how the hell you felt about you getting your head busted open on the side.
Or what's going on with Sting right now with his kid.
Why Sting's not there with him? How is he doing? Is he recovering?
Right.
How's his sons?
Tristan, that's the promo style. Like it's like telling a story. And I always tell, like, whether it's in retail.
I want a beginning, middle, and end.
Right. I want to know the who, the what, the where, and the why. You got to hit all those boxes in a promo. You got to lure us in. And I think that's where Darby Allin continues to hit his weak spot. We don't know the who. We don't know the what. We don't know the why oftentimes. We just hear that he's angry. That's cool. I'm angry too. But that's there's no substance to it.
There is none.
So this whole thing of Sting, like, it's left me underwhelmed as to where we're going.
And it's disappointing, though. This is the big thing that you had blown up to be the farewell tour, and we haven't even got the farewell tour.
No, we haven't got the farewell tour. But again, that's the problem that I have with AEW right now, is the inconsistencies of AEW.
Yeah.
Like we've got the tag team titles. Who has the tag team titles?
Sting and Darby.
Okay. Not being defended.
Nope.
Who has the 6-man tag team? Who is it? The trios titles.
Well, the new faction of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang haven't even defended.
Why is that even a thing?
I don't know.
Why is that even a thing?
Did you not believe in the Bang Bang Gang? Jay White and the Gun Club were perfectly fine. They lose Juice Robinson, and all of a sudden they're like, "Well, we don't know what to do with them.
We're gonna go ahead and put you with the Acclaimed." Like, really?
But there was supposed to be all this hatred and this animosity with the Guns versus their dad, and now that's null and void because you got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
But it's like you're dealing with a lot of this stuff of everything's up in the air. Like, why is that even a thing? But then you got guys like the House of Black that were the trios titles,
And they ain't doing anything.
over on Collision. Like, why are they still only on Collision? They just took FTR and just moved them around to every single show finally.
Bro,
So
Collision was built for CM Punk.
Right. And
For
Daniel Bryan.
CM Punk to
And
work
Bryan
with,
Danielson.
and to work with his people. They need to cut ties with Collision because CM Punk ain't here anymore.
Well,
we
it's not
don't
necessarily
need
cut ties, but cut away the fact that
Sean. We don't need 3 AEW shows.
probably not. But if you are, stop pigeonholing certain people to certain shows.
Yes.
Move them.
Yep.
You finally took FTR off a Collision and put them on Dynamite. Like, okay, like tonight we got to see FTR versus BCC. Okay, finally. But there's a lot of issues of inconsistency right now that I have with the booking of AEW.
Hey, Tony Khan, if you need some guys if you need fresh blood to actually write a program, holler at your boys.
Like, and then you look at, like, I get that CJ Perry had that finger issue, right?
Right? And where's
And
Miro?
and then you completely cooled off Miro after he beat up on Andrade and sent Andrade back to WWE.
I have a problem with what they're doing with Andrade in WWE. He goes back home to be nothing.
And you've got Miro back at home doing nothing.
But yet you have 3 shows, and you can't map out 3 shows?
3 shows?
That's a problem.
Like,
You have a hefty roster.
You have ROH and you do nothing with it. Like, I feel bad for everybody that's on ROH because they're regulated to basically
ROH,
internet TV.
Yes. the app.
Right. Nobody cares.
No. And from like the clips that I've seen, it looks decent.
It looks decent, but it doesn't have the ROH feel. You need to put ROH on TV. Like, you could easily get rid of Rampage and put ROH in that spot.
See, that's another thing, right? You have 3 AEW shows. You could take one of them off and put on Ring of Honor.
Right.
You don't need 3 programs and an ROH to put your roster on.
Right. The logic, like, I was a big advocate for AEW when they came out.
WCW.
But now here we are towards the end of 2023 into early 2024, still left scratching our head and wondering,
how can we move the product forward?
Right. What is the real direction? What is the real way that AEW is going to transition and make better booking choices?
I know that at first, Sean, said that they didn't have a booking community, nor did they want a real booking community. But at some point, you can't have the wrestlers dictating their own stories. You, at some point, need to make sure that it all comes together. It all makes sense. Because it can't just be the wrestlers making the choices.
Right.
And when is it enough that you stop booking like you're a fan and start booking for wrestling?
But if you're going to let the wrestlers have some type of creative say and creative leeway, then let them and listen to them and let them run with their story. Because, again, another issue I have with failed booking attempts or things not making sense is we just saw Swerve Strickland versus Hangman Adam Page like 3 times. And the last one being a Texas death match. That should have ended their story.
My guy.
Should have ended their story.
Swerve Strickland is 2-0, and they act like those 2 fights meant nothing.
By putting him in a 3-way with Samoa Joe for the title at Revolution. See? Stupid booking. It should have been Swerve versus Joe, and then Joe losing the title to Swerve because he's hot.
You can't take the title off of Joe, though, I don't think, right now.
You can because you got the hot guy in Swerve right now.
I don't know. I want him to beat both their asses.
Now?
I don't know.
But
it's stupid. It's stupid. Stupid.
But to save Swerve, Joe's got to make Hangman tap. And Swerve can't lose or get pinned.
Yep.
If Swerve gets pinned, submitted, or whatever in that bout,
every momentum that he had
is gone.
Whose house? Joe's house.
Right.
Whose house? Paige's house.
So Hangman has to take that loss.
Yep.
Period.
Man, it's going to be definitely interesting. But you know what's interesting? Tyson Fury versus Usyk. News has come out, Sean, that Tyson Fury, his fight, the WBC president says that he wants more judges for the Tyson Fury and Usyk fight because he doesn't want any controversy. What's your thoughts?
Well, when you talk about that this is the biggest fight in 25 years for boxing, like you can't leave any stone unturned. And the problem that a lot of people have with Fury is that people feel like Fury has gotten lucky in a lot of his fights lately. Like he lost. He lost and without certain judges and certain scoring criteria, yeah, I could completely understand it because I was thinking about it. Like, so if you have 3 judges, right?
Yep. Let's see if you break it down like I did.
You cover 3 sides of the ring.
This is true.
If you have 5 judges, 1 on one side, 1 in the front, 1 on another side, 1 in the back. So you can go 4 judges, and you got all 4 sides, right?
And then you have that tiebreaker.
But if you go 6, you can put 1 on the corner, 1 on the other corner. So now you got both corners, and you got 1 guy that can cover. You got 2 guys that can cover the triangle, 2 guys that can cover the triangle. You basically got everything sectioned off.
I think 5 is perfect.
No, 6 because you could
because
triangle.
check this out. Check this out, right? So you have 4 corners in the squared circle.
Yeah.
So you have 4 right there, all around the corner.
Yeah.
But then you can have another judge sitting right at the booth or right at the table with a monitor. So then that's your 5th, because then you have 4 people that are watching it live, right?
Yeah.
And you get that vibe, and then that one judge. Because think about it, right? If you have 3 judges, right? One judge can see it one way, another judge sees it another way, and then all of a sudden you get that 3rd judge, and he's the ultimate tailspin.
Okay.
So then you put the 5th judge with the people with the monitor, and have them watch it, because we've seen it, Sean, that watching it on TV and watching it on monitor is vastly different when you're sitting cage side.
Well, then I'm going to kill your mood.
What?
There's no need for it. Want to know why there's no need for it? Because you got half of the story right.
What?
So, back in Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou,
Okay.
they, in that fight, introduced instant replay.
Yes, which I love.
They were able to determine in that fight that a cut to Tyson Fury was created by a headbutt, not an actual punch.
Yes.
So instant replay is in play. The WBC is already planning to have instant replay in play for this bout.
Correct.
Which means you wouldn't have to have that 5th judge dedicated to watching a monitor, because somebody will be watching the monitor to watch for anything illegal or anything else like that. So if you can have 6 more judges, like I said, and break it down.
Oh, so you could have 4. So you could have 4 around the ring, 5 on the monitor. 6 would be the instant replay guy.
Or not even, because they will have their own dedicated. So you would have your own instant replay group with communication headsets to the people around the cage. But if you put them in and you put the squared circle and you have 6, 2, 4, 6, you're covering 90% of the ring. So
True.
you're leaving no stone unturned, that if one guy has a bad night,
Yep.
you got 5 more judges.
I just think
if
that
2 have a bad night, you still got a higher percentage that everything's going to trickle the correct way. Where with 3 judges, one guy has a bad night, calls it a bad thing, the whole evening's screwed.
Right, but with the issue that I have with the 3 judges is what you and I have been privileged to for years, and the judges can hate us for this. They can say whatever they want, but the truth is the truth. The truth is what it is the fact that we have been told several times that depending on how the fighter acts to the judges could also sway a point here or there depending on the judge.
Sure.
So in boxing, that's 100% factual, is that if you're a horrible person or you don't treat the judges correctly, yeah, they're like, oh man, this round is very close. I'm going to swing it just a little bit this way, and that's how you end up getting controversy. So here, I think 5 to 6 judges, ideally, yes, 100%, Sean. Yeah. I am down for that, especially for every single fight in boxing. No. Big time, high profile fights, 100%. For sure. So Tyson Fury, Usyk, right? Joshua versus Francis Ngannou.
And people will say, well, why Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua? I would only do that fight because of the fact that Anthony Joshua is a big name in boxing. You would want to make sure that he got an up-and-up opportunity to defend himself.
Yes, a fair shake.
So that way it doesn't hurt his resume. Like if he loses to Francis Ngannou, it's valid. So I completely agree with
It's not one judge at the end of the day dictating that it was Francis Ngannou that's winning it.
For sure.
Because what happens if you got a judge that saw him in MMA? Now you're favored.
Right. Not the
now
one that
you take
really
it completely out of the spectrum. You take it completely out of the hands and allow these judges to do their job and do their job correctly, and everything will be Gucci. Right?
So I completely agree with the WBC.
So we're in agreement. 5 to 6 judges, we are good with that.
Yeah, because if you do 5 to 6 judges and you got a review group, nothing can go wrong.
No.
Everything's on the up and up. We got a fair fight on both sides of the spectrum. Have at it. Makes perfect sense to me.
I'm good with that.
What doesn't make sense to me is why we're even hearing that Manny Pacquiao wants to fight Bud Crawford.
He said, give me 8 weeks and I'll be in there. But yet the Paris Olympics said, hold up, bro. You're 45? Nah, we're good. You ain't coming back.
Speaking about what's not coming back, did you see PFL release the title belts for the PFL versus Bellator championship?
No.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
They look gorgeous?
No, they look like hot buttered ass. Sorry,
Oh.
excuse my language.
Yeah.
So here's the problem I have with the titles, okay? The titles look, the perception looks kind of similar to the Gladiator title that Bellator had.
Okay.
But except for the belt says PFL versus Bellator champs title.
Rough.
Why? PFL bought Bellator. Everything's going to be unified. Why are they not one entity?
Yeah, because they want to keep Bellator separate.
Like, I was like, you lost me when I read the bell and it said PFL versus Bellator champs. Why?
I don't know. I'm still curious to see how this thing's going to play out and where this is going.
Well, the one in Saudi, the Saudi coming up February 28th, I looked at the card and it just left a lot to be desired.
Yes.
Aaron Pico is fighting Henry Corrales again because his fight bailed. Patricio Pitbull's fighting on the card and his fight bailed.
Yep.
Like, good Lord. It's just a train wreck.
Yeah,
already.
but one thing I don't like is that Aaron Pico is on the
He's
prelims.
on the prelims. And he lost to Henry Corrales and he's fighting him for the second time. Not sure how smart that is. AJ McKee's on the card. But AJ McKee should be higher on the card.
Not the first fight of the main event.
Right. He should be higher on the card. That's a little bit disrespectful.
Yoel Romero versus Thiago Santos.
Okay.
Nemkov.
Nemkov returned, but he
Capoloza.
But see, Nemkov relinquished the 205 title.
Yeah, right.
And then yet he's going to go in as an opportunity to fight for the number one contenders.
Right, and then yet Ryan Bader's in there.
Well, Ryan Bader's the champ.
Heavyweight, yeah.
But it's like, why do you relinquish the 205, the light heavyweight title? Why do you relinquish that title only to be put into a number one contendership for said title?
Right. And
Sean,
if you're looking at the PFL versus Bellator champs, right?
Well, PFL has a lot of guys you can't pronounce their names.
Oh, that is very true too. But no, when I was looking at this card, Bellator versus PFL, right?
Right.
And they called it PFL versus Bellator champs. I'm thinking Clash of the Champions, like WCW kind of day where your champs versus their champs. Bro, you got 2 title fights. 2. How are we going to call PFL versus Bellator champs and you got 2?
Because then the next set is going to be one day before UFC 300.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Don't know. Can't tell you. Not okay with this. Not even by a long shot. So I can't get behind it.
I guess we're going to be at a holding pattern to figure out how this is all going to play out.
I'm sure. But I'm not 100% sold. I'll wait for the PFL and this Bellator thing to play out. Am I happy about it? No. Do we have boys that fight for Bellator? 100%. Am I happy for them? Not really.
Our boy Lorenz Larkin just came back from Thailand. I'm curious to know what he thinks about this venture.
Maybe we reach out to Lorenz and say, hey, buddy, what do you think about this whole Bellator PFL thing?
Right.
But I don't know, dude. This is the one thing. I get what they did. I get why they bought them. And they want to be the next thing. Just, guys, it doesn't play out the way that y'all hope. Because it didn't play out when WWE bought ECW and WCW. It didn't pan out.
The invasion angle failed.
Right.
Don't try to create your own invasion angle.
And if you're trying to compete with the big juggernaut, I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. Right. You have WWE that is up here. AEW is right here. It's just the way it
UFC's
is.
up here.
UFC's up here, Bellator, PFL's here. It's just apples to oranges, guys. Apples to oranges. I don't know what else to tell you guys. You can like it, you can hate it, you can love it. I'll take it as far as I can go. I will still watch. I will still support. But there's still a lot more questions and answers that I have about this than we all know on the surface.
For sure. It's just one of the things that left you scratching your head.
110%.
But it's also one of those things that we're going to wait and see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all we can do is wait and see and hope that the venture goes in the direction that they hope it goes.
Yep. But that's pretty much all we have for tonight. So I thank you guys to everybody that has tuned in tonight. Allowed us to get the rust off. Allowed us to do what we need to do to get back into the swing of things. I appreciate you guys. Sean, do you have anything left to say to all of our viewers, to the people out there?
Our sponsors, I Love Auntie.
Yes, go to iloveauntie.com for all your CBD needs or anything like that. Use promo code the ducrossbros and you can save 10% off of your order today.
Go follow us on Instagram at the.sports.warriors. Follow us over there. Follow us on Twitter, the ducrossbros. Go subscribe to our Sports Warriors YouTube. But yeah. You guys got any comments or anything like that? Feel free to direct messages as we continue to come out of the dark. We'll start answering messages as we continue to come back and get more comfortable.
Yep.
So, yeah. Hopefully we're back for good. We'll see how next week plays out. But my wife's immortal words is, if we're going to be back, we're going to be back. We're not going to half-ass this. Because we can't be back one week. We can't be gone the next week. We got to be in this.
We in this.
We got to be back. So,
all
Tristan,
the way back.
we got to be back.
All the way back. We're coming back. Stronger, bigger, faster. We're the Ducross Brothers, the Sports Warriors. Cross that line. Sean, move your laptop a little bit. I want to see that tagline. Show the peeps that tagline. Look. Cross the line. Come on over. We're the Ducross Brothers, Sean and Tristan Ducross. You can check us out on our socials. Until next time, we are out. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. In the meantime, it's one time, and we'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy the night. Have fun.
Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.
Let's get it on!
Sprawl and brawl, ground and pound. Get ready for an MMA showdown. Now, the ultimate Octagon Insider, Sean and Tristan Ducross.